how's it going? It is a glorious February day out here. Super sunny outside today, and it's 80 degrees in the greenhouse. In fact, I've got a door open for a little bit of extra airflow, and the fan is on in here. I've got a few projects I'm going to be working on outside because it is so nice. I'm going to be planting some pansies, some hellebores, and some bulbs that I've been forcing in our basement, and I might do a little bit of cleanup too. So let me turn the camera around and show you these beautiful pansies. I've got a beautiful cartload here I picked up at the garden center yesterday, starting with these pansy lavender is what these are called. I am a sucker for anything purple. I think these are so sweet and so spring looking. Then we've got pansy frizzle sizzle raspberry, and I always like something with a little bit of a buttery yellow. I think it makes it really pop. And then over here, these are called pansy frizzle sizzle blue. Really sweet ruffly leaves there. And then I've got 3 different hellebores, which I'm actually not sure where I'm going to put yet. This is called Winter Thriller Sunshine Ruffles. And I really, again, like the buttery yellow with the really pretty pink margins. This one is Winter Thriller Showtime Ruffles. And this one is probably one of my favorites. This flower isn't quite open yet, but look at the detail. Absolutely gorgeous. And then this one is called Vava Voom White. Again, some really pretty color. So I'm going to take these out to the first set of pots that I'm going to be working on. Okay, so I'm going to be planting up these containers right in our entryway to begin with. Right now we have Alberta spruce in there that have wintered beautifully, which really isn't surprising because our winter has been so incredibly mild. So I think what I'm going to do is start with these lavenders up here. Yeah, I think that'll be a really sweet look up here. Hopefully I have enough in that one flat. We shall see. First set of pots are done. I think they look super sweet. I used 8 pansies in each one of these pots, so they'll grow and fill in and get a little bit bigger. When I'm all done with all my planting out here, I'm going to bring some water around to clean off the sides of the pots and water these in really well. Next project is to plant the frizzle sizzle raspberries out in the containers by our greenhouse. Alright, so I'm going to be planting underneath these juniper topiaries in these galvanized containers that Gardener Supply sent out last year. Right now it's currently got some fall stuff left over. There are a few cabbage in here that are looking a little long in the tooth, and then we've actually got some pansies in here that don't look half bad. These were the orange and purples from last year. They have more of a Halloween kind of fall vibe to me, so I'll probably pull these out and just put all of the frizzle sizzle raspberries in. So I need to go grab my pop-up bag so I have somewhere to put all of the junk. Alright, greenhouse pots are done. So my next project is with these frizzle sizzle blues up closer to our kitchen door, but I'm going to stop by the barn and grab a little trowel so I can plant the hellebores. I don't know how much experience you guys have with hellebores. They are not one of the cheapest perennials that you can buy, but they are absolutely wonderful because they're something that blooms so early and looks so pretty all winter long, and they can take full shade situations, which not a lot does. There isn't a lot that will take full shade and still look absolutely gorgeous, so I think they're worth every penny. So that's been kind of a goal this spring of mine, is to add more variety to my collection. I don't have a very big collection. There were a few planted in this garden when we bought the house, and I thought it would be really fun just to add to that every year. So I've picked up, I think, 4 new varieties this spring. I think that's a good start. Okay, so this is where the frizzle sizzle blue pansies are gonna go. So in the center of this pot I have an obelisk, and I have a Happy Jack Clematis, which did, you can see, fabulous last year. It bloomed beautifully, and it bloomed multiple times. And I have around the base just some old scrubby looking cabbage. I had an alyssum right there, so I'm going to clean all of this stuff out. And the great thing about the Happy Jack Clematis is that it blooms on new and old wood. So what I'm going to do is prune it back quite hard. So I'll prune it back to about here and clean it up, and it'll grow fresh new branches this year and still bloom and do beautifully. And I think it'll look really pretty with the blue pansies underneath. And then right below it here I need to do a little clean out, but I've got some gorgeous, I think these are pink frost hellebores. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there, and they've all got a big bunch of blooms coming out of the center. Their foliage still looks pretty good, but there's a lot of just leaves from the fall and stuff that have fallen, and I need to clean that up a little bit, as well as this whole section right here. And then I think that these 3 hellebores are going to go somewhere right over there. See that patch of green? Those are all hellebores right there. So I think I might add to it. So as far as clematis go, I know it's kind of a confusing subject on when and how to prune them. I would recommend that whenever you plant a clematis, label it. Make sure that there's a good label that will not wear off or fall off somehow, or if you have a plant journal, if you can write that down and any pruning instructions that are on its planting tag, that is ideal, and that way you don't forget, because it's easy. I always think I'm gonna remember everything that I plant, and I don't. And then, you know, inevitably I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with this plant? Am I supposed to prune it now or later or what? So if you take some good notes, or at least if you have a label with the name of the plant somewhere on it, then you can look up or ask somebody at your garden center what to do with it. So that's what I would recommend with clematis. One of these days we will put together a video kind of going through all 3 different classes of clematis and when and how to prune them back. But that'll be a different day. Isn't that a crazy difference? It looks so shiny and brand new. And usually I use the wood stain or Danish oil once or twice in a season, usually right around springtime. Right now, just kind of a spring cleaning thing, and then usually after my summer plants are done. My summer plants usually trail and hang over the sides of pots, so I'm not super worried about what they look like underneath all the plants. So when I clean them out to do my fall planters, which is usually shorter plants like pansies again and cabbage and kale, then I'll clean the pot up again and make it look nice, you know, for the winter months. So here is my current hellebores patch. You can see this is one I actually planted in here last year. It's got some blooms on it, and it does look like I'm gonna need to clean off some of the foliage that we've got going on here. This one didn't winter very well at all, but there's a lot of fresh stuff coming up in the center, and I can see the blooms are starting to form, and this one, you guys, is gorgeous. I posted a picture on Instagram last year. I'll probably post another one this year when it's in full bloom. It looks a lot better. And you can see that there's already some blooms down in here. Oh, they're so pretty. They're like little treasures out here this time of year. Hey, Russell, kitty kitty. Kitty kitty. What you doing, bud? Alright, so this is how it's gonna go. Right here, there was a dead tree that we dug out, so there's a little bit of a dip, so I need to bring in more soil here, but that's okay because I've got more hellebores I can fill in with later. These 2 right up front look really nice. I didn't have to clean much off of those. And then there is one right here. Of course, that one actually spans this whole area. It fills in once it starts to grow. And then there's another 2 right back here. So I'm thinking these 3 will fill in perfect right here, because these 2 right here get 18 to 24 inches tall. This one gets 12 inches tall. So I bumped that one kind of forward a little bit, so it'll be kind of a gradual stair step. And then I need to figure out something really fun to do right back in here. Haven't decided quite yet. Really healthy root system, a little bit root bound, so I'm gonna just rough up the roots just a little bit. All right, so there they are in their new homes. I think they'll be really happy right here if Russell doesn't eat them. Russell, kitty kitty. Good boy. Come on. I think this is a perfect spot for a hellebores collection because check this out. So there's a walkway to our little fireplace area. There are some hostas back in here that I planted last year. And if memory serves me right, I planted 3 right in here as well. So we'll see. Yeah, I can see them right here. There they are. The little root balls anyway. So there are a few right there. So I'm thinking if I just swoop hellebores kind of in this section right here, I mean, I've got a lot of area to add them. And this spot gets morning sun and afternoon shade, which is perfect. Oh, I've got wood stain on my face. Oh, for crying out loud. And that's what happens. All right, I better get with it if I'm gonna get any more done. Aaron's inside watching Benjamin right now. I just took a break a minute ago to go in and hold him for a minute. So I'm just gonna do a little bit more cleaning before I'm gonna call it good for the day. So this area is all cleaned up and I got a little layer of mulch down so it looks nice and tidy and sharp. I did make a little bit of a mess right there. I need to get some water out to take care of that. But I think it looks really good. So I've got the boxwoods in here. I think these are North Star boxwoods that I want to create a little bit of a hedge right there. And then of course the hellebores and the pot with the clematis and pansies. And then right in this section right here, there are I think 3 or 4 hostas planted along in here, as well as some, what is it, sweet woodruff and some lamiastrum, I think is what it's called. I don't know. Anyway, it's a ground cover, it's really pretty. But this area I kind of want to tear up and do something different, probably excavate some of the soil so it's at ground level, because right now I've just got some rocks holding it up, and the rocks are kind of falling apart. So I either need to fix the rocks or take some of the soil out and make it all ground level. We'll see what happens. And then there is some black mondo grass, which typically doesn't survive our winters either, and it has. And then there are 3 hostas, and I can't remember what variety they are. They might be autumn frost. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look at that video. See, that's a case in point. And if you don't write it down or put your little tag in there, you won't remember. Or I don't, at least. Okay, so now that this little spot is done, I actually hadn't planned on cleaning this spot out, but when I got up here to plant the pansies, it just looked so horrendous I had to stop and do that. So I think what I'm gonna do now is go clean out the 2 pots in our front entryway that I put greens in, and then water everything in that I planted today and then call it good, because Aaron is inside watching Benjamin, like I said, and we have just been kind of switching on and off. So he'll go watch Benjamin, cuddle him up, and I'll come outside and do some work and get some things done, and then I'll go in and take a turn and Aaron will get some things done that he needs to get done. So we just kind of tag team, and we almost kind of fight over him a little bit, like, you know, we want extra time with him. He's so sweet. Okay, so to the front of the property. So these are the pots I was talking about. They're right in the entry of our property, and I had them all decorated for Christmas. So there's greens and rose hips, as well as some lights on these topiary forms. So I think what I'm gonna do right now is just clean out the greens and get the lights off the forms. All right, so I've got both of the pots cleaned out, and as you can see, you can't really see this topiary form very well. You could see it during the winter months because we had the Christmas lights on. So what I think I'm gonna do is relocate these to somewhere else in my garden and put an actual topiary in, like an evergreen of some kind, something big, and then underplant it with something really pretty, some really pretty colorful annuals. So I think that's the plan for these pots. I was going to put some of the bulbs that I've been forcing in our basement in these, but I think I'm gonna just hold off and put those somewhere else. In fact, I'm not gonna get to that project in this video today because I think we've maybe only got about an hour of light left, and I want to go inside and cuddle up Benjamin and give Aaron a chance to come out here if he wants to do anything outside before we don't have any light. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. It feels like an April day out here today. And I know that we're gonna be in for it for insects and mosquitoes, things like that this year if it keeps up like this, because it just hasn't been cold enough, and I think we may have some issues there, but that's okay. I mean, I'm just enjoying the heck out of this spring. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was just some like little random projects and chores that I had to do around the house, and that's kind of how I'm doing it this spring, just kind of little bits at a time. So I'm actually very thankful for how nice it's been so early, because it's giving me a little bit of extra time. It's the gift of time. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.